What is the most interesting thing that someone has tried to tell you about water? Mine personally would probably be the fact that someone tried to tell me the other day that they didn't like water and they simply just didn't need to drink any, which isn't entirely true. Today, I'm going to be talking about how much water you should be drinking on a daily basis, how much of your body is actually composed of water, and some fun facts about water, even though there are probably more than you can count. Okay, so let's start off with how much water you should be consuming on a daily basis. So while I was in the process for researching for this project, or this speech, whatever you want to call it, I found out that humans as a species are really, really misinformed or not well informed enough about a lot of things actually, but water specifically, including water consumption. So I'm assuming that we've all, or at least most of us, have heard of the 8 glasses of water 8 times a day thing, the 64 ounces of water a day, you know? And while that sounds really easy and really simple for everyone to follow, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So, the amount of water that you should be drinking each day is very subjective from person to person and can vary a lot. One of water's main purposes is hydration. So, let's say a person who's 5'2" and really lazy is not going to need as much hydration as someone that was 5'7" and just went through a 2-hour basketball practice. They are probably much more dehydrated after running around a lot. I also found out that you should be drinking about half of your body weight in ounces of water daily, which sounds confusing on the way it's worded, but basically, if you weigh 100 pounds, then you should be drinking 50 ounces of water a day. Which, when I found that out, made me feel a little bad because I'm probably not getting as much hydration as I need to then. Okay, so moving on, let's talk about your body and how much of it is actually composed of water. So we've always heard that we are composed of a lot of water, but I was never really curious to actually look it up. But now that I know it, I was actually really, really curious on how that actually works. So when I was researching, I found a few different things, but the most common one was that human bodies, or the average human bodies, are made from up to 65% water, which kind of blew me away. I was really, really interested by that. And I also found out that newborns can be up to 78% water. I thought that was absolutely insane. And then a jellyfish and a cucumber, just for comparison, are 95% water. I thought that was really, really interesting. Okay, so now that we have talked a little bit about some of the fun facts, even though I've gone over a lot of them already, actually, some more fun facts that I found while I was researching were that the average cost for water supplied to a home in the U.S. is about $2 for 1,000 gallons, which equals about 5 gallons for a penny. Which I thought was actually really interesting because when you go to buy a gallon of water at the store, I don't remember how much it actually is when I researched it. I think it's between $2 and $3, which isn't a lot, but compared to 5 gallons for a penny, it's a little expensive. I also found out that children in the first 6 months of their life consume 7 times as much water per pound as the average American adult, which I thought was actually really interesting because I'm obviously not a mom. I have a few nieces and nephews, but in my experience at least, newborns to 6 months usually drink a lot of milk, not just straight water. So I was really curious as to where all of the 7 times as much water as an adult comes from. I also found out that we get most of the hydration we need from foods, and the easiest way to get hydrated without overhydrating accidentally is to drink when you're thirsty. I didn't even know that overhydration was a thing before researching for this project, but apparently it is really extremely common, which I thought was actually really sad because when people overhydrate, they probably are just like me and had no idea it was a thing and could be bad for them and probably just thought that they were doing good for their body by drinking more water or more fluids. Basically, overhydration happens when you drink too much water or too many fluids in a really short amount of time. And your kidneys can go into failure and actually kill you, which sounds really serious, and it kind of is, but I had no idea it was even a thing. I also was really, really curious to find out that we get most of the hydration we need from food. And that, like, pretty much drinking water is a bonus, besides if you are actually dehydrated. And if you are dehydrated, you will feel thirsty. I don't know. Okay, so to sum up some of the things that I have talked about, we went over how much water you should be consuming on a daily basis, how much of your body is actually composed of water, and some really interesting fun facts about water. So next time you take a look at your drink of water, you'll know a little bit more about what's in your H2O.